Hello. Today I want to tell you about what I call the best little chill out tool ever. It's a breathing exercise called 478. And I first heard about it decades ago through a book on meditation by integrative healing expert Andrew Weil, Weil, I believe. Um, it was something that he put forth as the absolute best tool that he's found to assist his clients with anxiety. And at that time, of course, I had a lot of clients who were struggling with stress, anxiety, depression, and their relevant coping strategies like food and other substances, and anger. So to me, that was definitely worth trying out when somebody who is an expert in a certain field suggests this is the best thing they've ever found, given all of their experience and experimentation with meditation and mindfulness. One of the things I love about this 478 breathing technique is how incredibly simple it is and how amazingly well and rapidly it works to bring you into the moment and calm you down simultaneously so that it's safe to be more present. Of course, this moment, being present right now, is the only place you really want to be, because this is where life is happening. Life isn't happening back then. It's not happening over there. It's happening right now. And this very moment is the only moment where you actually have power over what happens in your life, over how you feel, how you think, and over what happens down the road to a great extent. So the way that you treat this moment, even if the big thing that you're hoping for and waiting for is 2 years down the road, the way that you handle this moment, the presence that you bring, the self-respect and dignity you show yourself and others directly correlates to how down the road is going to go. So being able to bring yourself rapidly into this present moment in a way that feels peaceful and safe and brings you greater clarity and makes it easier for you to figure out what's going on and what you need and what the right decision for you to make in that moment is, well, that's a tool that's worth its weight in gold. So I'm going to share that with you today. The 478 exercise can be done anywhere. It can be done eyes open, eyes closed. It doesn't matter. You can do it in traffic if you're starting to feel stressed. You can do it in conversation with other human beings if you're starting to feel stressed, although ideally we walk away from those. You can do it anywhere, anytime. It takes about 3 to 5 minutes, depending on you, um, and I'll explain more about that in a minute. So it's not a long outlay of time, and really all you're doing is breathing and counting and focusing on the breath and the count. So let me walk you through one so that you understand what I'm talking about. And then if you have any questions, you can just post them in the chat below. If you want to share your experience of what that was like, also just post in the chat below. And this is a wonderful tool for those of you who struggle with going to bed. Like, you don't want to lie there and be thinking. That makes you stressed and makes you stay up, and then of course your self-care suffers the next day. You're tired, you're dragging, you might reach for a certain food to bump you up, and the cycle starts again. Also, for insomniacs, people who wake up in the middle of the night and then can't get back to sleep, 478 is a fabulous tool. What it actually does, this little exercise, is because it's bringing you into the present moment and it's concentrating your focus, and because we're influencing our breath in kind of an unnatural way. This, what I'm about to teach you, is not the way you'd naturally breathe in your daily life. So it captures the attention of your instinctive brain. It gets it focused right here, right now on what you're doing, and not on all the things you're worrying about, or the things that happened, or the things that you screwed up, or the things you're going to screw up. Okay? It's focusing on right here, right now. What are you doing? Why are you affecting our breath? Because that instinctive brain, the one that's very habitual and always drives you to the food, And then conversely, of course, complains that you've done that, which we'll talk talk about later. But that instinctive brain, it's responsible for keeping you alive. Remember that maximum happy safe ratio it's trying to accomplish. But that means it's also responsible for making sure your breath is working as it should. And as soon as you start to interrupt that in any way, you get its attention. You bring yourself into the present moment. What naturally happens then, because this present moment is you feeling more grounded and more present with yourself, is that the stress hormones that we're triggering, and we'll find out more about why that happens for you as we go through this program together. But those stress hormones that we're triggering, that cortisol, the 478 exercise stops the flow of cortisol. It prevents your brain from releasing any more in that moment. And instead, it actually releases oxytocin, that bonding, relaxed, peaceful, blissy hormone. So we are rapidly self-directing our brain hormones in a way that you're trying to do with food a lot of the time. You're trying to lower cortisol or numb yourself from that with fats and with processed carbs and refined sugars as a rule. Because those have a more profound effect on your oxytocin and dopamine levels. So with 478, we don't need any other substances, and we're able to accomplish that task far more rapidly and effectively and without the side effects that we get from the use of food as a coping strategy, mentally and physically. So here's how it works. We breathe in through our nose for a count of 4. We hold our breath for a count of 7. And we exhale through our mouth for a count of 8. In through the nose for 4, hold for 7, out for 8. And we do that 4 times. And then we just breathe gently, 3 deep breaths in and out. And then we repeat that whole cycle. In through the nose for 4, hold for 7, exhale through the mouth for 8 times 4. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through one. What I want you to understand is that your breathing is going to be different from mine for all sorts of reasons. There's no right or wrong. What I'm about to do here is my guess of a kind of a moderate count that will hopefully meet the needs of you as to some extent, just to give you a sense of this exercise. Okay, so I want you to just do your best to follow along with me just to get the gist and allow yourself to have a facilitated experience of this for the first time. But after that, let your count be as long or as short as is appropriate for your breath, for your lungs, for your level of health right now. It's going to change for sure and be different for each person.